welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 15-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any content that I upload, that would be greatly appreciated. And before we get into the breakdown, I do have some more good news to report as far as another big night for me. As you guys know, if you've been watching my content or if you're new to the channel, when I do have a big night, I tend to break it down strictly because I want you guys to see my lineup construction, kind of what went into it, and hopefully you guys kind of benefit from it is the goal here. I actually came in fourth in the tournament on Sunday as well as far as the monsters concerned, and last night I was able to come in third in the MLB Emperor, 100K DFS. So this is my lineup that I went with last night. I had Glass now with a Kansas City Royals and Cincinnati stack, and a lot of this is tied to the tools that I use that I offer over on Patreon as far as, you know, what I really liked. I really liked the Cincinnati Reds offense taking on Eric Lauer. I thought his hard contact was using his left-handed thrower, and his pitch data, they really broke down well against him. And then the Royals, I really liked taking on a Detroit team and Matthew Boyd, and then the Detroit bullpen's not too good either. And I liked Tyler Glasnow a lot taking on the Chicago White Sox. And unfortunately got hurt, and I'm not going to lie, unfortunately that really hurt, because if you look at the two lineups that beat me, Jim Bob 2125 had a big night here, and both of his lineups had Adam Wainwright in it, and he beat me by 0.3 points there, and then this one he had 153.3 with Wainwright in it as well. So, you know, had Glasnow not got hurt, I probably would have been able to take this one down. And also, I was watching my stacks go back through. I had the Royals and the Reds as mentioned, and you know, I had Hunter Dozier come up to the plate with the bases loaded in like the 6th inning, I believe, and he popped out with 2 outs. And then I had my full stack up again with Merrifield getting on base in the bottom of the 8th, I believe, and then Salvador Perez grounding into a double play. And then I had Jorge Soler slap a single, and Dozier come up one more time. I was kind of hoping, you know, he's the one guy in my stack that really didn't do much. He just came through with a walk last night. I was kind of thinking, you know, this is his opportunity to come through for me. Unfortunately, he went up there and got out again. So, you know, only 6.3 points off from that first place 100K prize. I've taken down multiple tournaments this season so far. It's always been a goal of mine to take down a tournament with 100K up top, though, and I haven't done that quite yet. But anyways, I wanted to explain my thought process here as far as the stack's concerned. I really liked the Reds taking on Lauer and his hard contact issues, and how I did it. It was I used the tools that I provide over on Patreon. Honestly, like, these tools make it simple. Everything's color coded. You're only seeing part of what I offer on the screen here when I go over these videos, and I have my highlighter stack. I see a splits leaderboard, team hitting data, my bullpen data, my power rankings, and my cheat sheet. And then I do go into other things like pitch data and stuff like that as I'm doing my research. But you get access to all that in my power rankings and my cheat sheet. And I actually just made an announcement on my Patreon page yesterday. I am planning on giving some more late exclusive content, video updates of my final thoughts on the slate and those kind of things. So yeah, I wanted to share my thought process with you guys as far as my lineup construction. Hopefully that helped a little bit. You know, a hard contact throwing left-handed hitter against a lineup that crushed lefties pretty well as far as the Royals are concerned. The guys with lots of power, Castellanos and the Suarez and the Reds bats as well. And then Tyler Glasnow is just a guy with a 30% plus K rate taking on a Chicago White Sox team. You know, I felt really good about that going into it. Unfortunately, I came up just short, but definitely another good night, and you know, definitely just going to keep going, trying to get that 100K win. That's always been a goal of mine. I've been playing DFS since 2015. If you're new to the channel, I have plenty to offer as far as insight on MLB DFS. If you've been here for a while, I think you know that by now. I've had lots of good feedback upon my content, and people really appreciate it. So, in closure, you know, if you could, anything that you guys do to support my videos, I do greatly appreciate it. I'm going to continue to give you the content. You know, these are the same tools I use in building my lineups. I give you guys my thoughts, and you know, when I do have a big night and I show you guys my lineup, I'm sure you can refer to the previous video and listen to what I said, and things will line up with my roster construction for the most part. Of course, things do change during the day. If you are interested in that Patreon package, I do offer it over here on Patreon. You get access to all the same tools that I'm using. My daily FanDuel DraftKings positional power rankings, cheat sheet, data sheet, high header, stack guys data, splits leaderboard, team inning data, bullpen data. And you get my Discord chat access as well, which I'm working to improve on some systems over there for some more communication between me and my members. And then another thing, if you're interested, I give you guys as much free content as possible on this channel, but if you're interested in getting really serious, I do offer a one-on-one MLB DFS coaching option. It's $100 per hour. It's a monthly option. You just have to purchase that package multiple times because I do offer my stuff on Patreon. I understand that might be a lot of money to some people. It might not be worth it, but if you are getting very serious about MLB DFS, I think I'm a great resource to go to. I honestly believe I'm one of the best MLB DFS players in the world as far as my knowledge on MLB DFS. And, if you're getting really serious about it, I think it's well worth the $100. We go ahead and schedule an hourly meet. We get on Zoom or Google Meet or whatever, platform works best for you. We meet up, we talk for an hour. If you like it, you can schedule as many sessions as you want. It's still at $100 hourly rate. And I am blabbering about that, but I really don't promote this stuff all too aggressively usually, and I just want you guys to know that these resources are out there, and I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you with the free content on the channel every day. I'm here to help you if you'd like to check out my premium package. It'll help you in a bigger way. And once again, all I ask really is if you're watching this free content, if you could please just take a second to leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment, guys. It helps me tremendously. There's definitely a few of you. I really greatly appreciate your constantly leaving comments. Even I'll give a shout out to Solid Picks, I believe is his name. He leaves 3 baseball emojis every single day. So shout out to you. I don't know if he realizes how much that helps, but every single day he's engaging with my content just by leaving that, and I appreciate it. And there's many more of you. Trust me, I know your names. My Patreon specifically, I know all you guys, and it does go a long way. So thank you to everyone that supported me. Follow me over on Twitter at KJK_DFS for more updates as well. I do tweet out a bunch of stuff before lock. For instance, if my home run pick isn't in the lineup, I'll tweet that out and much more. So turn on the notifications, follow me over on Twitter. Let's get this breakdown going. A little bit of a different intro, but I just wanted to explain, I think I'm going to provide you guys some good content. We're going to win some money throughout the rest of the season. And I want to show you guys kind of my thought process, what I do behind the scenes, and then lastly, don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day. And with that being said, all of that out of the way, let's start breaking down this one today. So as always, I like to go ahead and short my sheet by carry. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts, and the top guy on the slate today is going to be Yu Darvish taking on the Colorado Rockies in Coors Field, which is not the best environment. Does top his slate in carry. 31% K overall, a 13.4 swinging strike rate, 35.7% K rate against righties, and a 26.9% K rate against lefties. Very, very good stuff across the board. The only issue is he's taking on a Colorado Rockies team in Coors Field, which is literally the worst pitching environment that you could be involved in. It's 95 degrees, 6-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. I do still think that he can get you those swinging strikes and all that stuff, but he could be in trouble as well. Definitely a good tournament play because he's not going to get the same ownership that he would get if he wasn't in Coors Field, and I definitely think he could still have a good game. But in that thin air in Colorado, the ball's not going to break quite as well as it would in other environments, and it's just not ideal with the outfield. There's so much room for those balls to drop. So best on the slate in K rate, not sure he's going to be our top option. Second on the slate, we got Trevor Rogers taking on the St. Louis Cardinals, 29.8% K rate overall, a 14.3 swinging strike rate, 30% K rate against righties, and a 29.3% K rate against lefties. He has been very good, and he's taking on a St. Louis Cardinals team tonight that we're not all too scared of. I will say overall they typically do fare better against left-handed pitching, but I do think there's plenty of strikeouts to be had in this lineup with a guy with a 30% K rate. So Trevor Rogers is going to be top of the list as far as that's concerned. If you're spending up at pitcher, not sure this is a slate we're going to necessarily have to spend up at pitcher. As we go along here, you probably establish more of an idea if you really want to. And the other thing is Trevor Rogers' pitch count hasn't been the most impressive, honestly. He's been kind of capped out in the mid-80s to 90 pitches, which I don't really find ideal. I'm going to paying up for a pitcher. If I'm paying up for a pitcher, I want the guy to be a workhorse. I want him to go out there for possibly 110 pitches, 120 pitches type of deal. So that's another unfortunate thing about it. Third on the list, Shane McClanahan taking on the Chicago White Sox. Comes in with a 29.6% K overall, a 17.6 swinging strike rate, only a 33 innings pitch sample size, but that is very, very good. A 30.4% K rate against righties and a 25.9% K rate against lefties. Has struggled a lot more against left-handed bats overall, but luckily for him, the Chicago White Sox lineup is very right-handed heavy, and he's a left-handed pitcher himself, so it's a little bit ironic that he has struggled more. Looks like there might be 14-mile-an-hour winds blowing out in Chicago, which is a little unfortunate as far as the environment's concerned. But as far as this guy's stuff, he has been very good. The only question is really pitch count. And last time we saw him work up to about 77 pitches. It's kind of been where he's been at the whole time. It's a little unfortunate. If he was stretched out a little more, I'd be having a lot more interest because the Chicago White Sox have been striking out a lot. They are very good against left-handed pitching, but as mentioned, McClanahan's been pretty good overall. I mean, he does allow a little bit of slugging against those righties, but the swing strike rate and the strikeout rate's been beyond impressive. So, once again, it's a pitch count thing. I feel like this has become a repeatable trend in some of my videos. Some of these guys just aren't on big pitch counts, so that's a little unfortunate. Definitely go there. Andrew Heaney taking on the Oakland Athletics, 27.7% K overall, 13.4 swinging strike rate. His hard contact issues are a thing, but he does have a 28.4% K rate against righties, 25.6% K rate against lefties. And he's taking on an Oakland squad tonight. That's not the most ideal matchup in the sense that they are very good against left-handed pitching. But if you're looking for strikeout upside, Heaney always does provide it. It's going to come with a little bit of a risk for sure because the guy can get a little bit crazy, and as far as his recent form's concerned, been pretty good the last 2 times out. 2 games with 7 Ks apiece, only 1 earned run. So, and the other thing about it, we've been talking about pitch count this entire time. This guy's been working up to, 110 pitches when he's really on. So, the upside's there. I like that a lot more than these other guys where we're talking about 80 pitches. That's just not going to get the job done. So, Andrew Heaney definitely has some upside. Next on the list, we got Luis Castillo, who has not had the best year whatsoever. The last 2 years, his numbers do look really good across the board. 27.4% K rate. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's good. Swing strike rate stuff good. He's pretty good against both sides of the plate. This year has not been that same story, but I think we're starting to see him trend in the right direction more so rather than not. The last 2 times out, he's had 5 Ks and 7 Ks. And the last time in the same exact Milwaukee matchup, he had 7 Ks through 5.2 innings pitched, 96 pitches thrown. And the Milwaukee Brewers do strike out a bunch. So I do think that Luis Castillo is a great option tonight. There's a little bit of a risk with his recent struggles, but I tend to think he's definitely in a good spot, and I think he's going to be a good option on this slate tonight for sure. Next on the list, we got Jake Odorizzi. He's going to be the long reliever for the Houston Astros, so I kind of have a hard time really going to him unless you get him at a massive discount, and to be honest with you, he's not really the best option on this slate overall today anyways. Looking at the expected total for the Texas Rangers, it is only a 3.54 implied run total. He could get the win. He's priced at 6-1 on FanDuel over on DraftKings. They have him priced up to let's see, 7K. So I guess he is a long reliever. It could be a sneaky play in the sense that some people don't really even know what a long reliever is. He's going to come in after, McCullers pitches a few innings coming off the IL and then take it out the rest of the way. And the Texas Rangers do strike out quite a bit. However, Odorizzi does give up quite a bit of hard contact, but he does strike out quite a bit. So to be honest with you, I would say from a tournament aspect, it would be a pretty sneaky play. He could qualify for the win. Not the quality start on FanDuel if you're playing on FanDuel, which is a little unfortunate, but could still qualify for the win after McCullers goes out there and pitches 1 or 2 innings. And the Rangers do strike out quite a bit, so that's a little bit of a sneaky play for you. I think it's a little unnecessary on the slate today, to be honest, but that's an option. Julio Urias taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. And here's the other thing. I say it's unnecessary now. We do have Coors Field bats that are very expensive, and I'm saying that as a first look. Honestly, if I start building lineups and I see it can fit in every single bat that I like, and then I have Odorizzi, who I think can go out there and get like 5 Ks against the Texas Ranger squad, my tone might change. So that's why I say it could be a sneaky thing based upon but you have to have some stuff in your lineup that you really, really like that's worth sacrificing the other pitchers for, if you follow me. So Julio Urias taking on the Philadelphia Phillies, 25.1% K overall, a 23.5% K rate against righties, and a 28.6% K rate against lefties. And he is taking on a Philadelphia squad today that has been striking out a bunch. So I do think that Urias is going to be a great option as well on this slate. Comes in at 9-6 on FanDuel. Does look like some really good hitting weather out there in LA, 89 degrees with 12-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. So that's a little unfortunate for him. But the matchup's there, 9-6. I definitely think that he is going to be a valid play for sure. 5Ks, 5Ks, 5Ks the last 3 times out. He's been right around the mid-80s pitch count. Once again, we got a pitch count issue. Like, so far on this slate, it's like we're just going to be playing whoever's going to has the most amount of pitches, it seems like. But it's just true, guys. Like, you can't cap your upside with some of these guys in their pitch counts. So Frankie Montas taking on the Los Angeles Angels, the guys that's really good against right-handed and left-handed hitting as far as hard contact. I would say against lefties, he is a little worse. Against lefties, he does have a higher K rate, though. And overall, I just think he has a lot of strikeout every single time out. And also, the Los Angeles Angels lineup has not been the best for quite some time now. He comes in at 8.3 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at 8.5. I definitely think he's a good option taking on this Angels team today. Next guy that I'd be looking to is Mike Minor taking on the Detroit Tigers. He is definitely the top option on the slate as far as matchups concerned. We continue to target these Detroit Tigers with pitching. 24.4% K rate overall, a 24.5% K rate against righties, and a 24.1% K rate against lefties. And he's definitely in a great upside spot as far as his last start out. He took on an Oakland squad. He had 8 Ks, 106 pitches through 7 innings pitched. That's a great start. And he gets to take on another great matchup in the Detroit Tigers. So, doesn't get much better than this. And the guy's been pitching a lot of pitches. So, with everything we've been discussing with some of these issues with these other guys, Luis Castillo, Mike Minor really stand off the page for me today, I would say. And also Andrew Heaney. The guys that we can really rely on to be workhorses and really have some big upsides. So that's where I'd really be looking to on this slate today. Honestly, once we get past those guys, nothing really is too appealing. We do have Dallas Keuchel taking on the Tampa Bay Rays, and he's a left-handed hurler that does a really good job of keeping the ball on the ground. And the Tampa Bay Rays have been a team we've been targeting with left-handed pitching all season long. They have a ton of strikeouts to go around. Dallas Keuchel does a very good job of keeping the ball on the ground and keeping the ball in the ballpark, as mentioned. And he's taking on a squad that should make his K rate go up. So he would be the last guy that I would really be looking to as far as pitching options. He comes in at 7-1 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at, let's see, where is Keuchel? 7.3. Last time out, he had 8 Ks, 404 pitches through 6 innings taken on Toronto. Much better team as far as hitting. And I think he's in a good spot tonight. So he would be the last guy that I'm looking to for pitching. And with that being said, let's go ahead and switch over to bats. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra. Scale on our active ERA. It's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been in the past and how good he's expected to be in the future. And the worst guy on the slate today is going to be Corbin Martin taking on the San Francisco Giants. Ground ball, fly ball, strikeout stuff is terrible. Hard contact stuff against righties is very bad. A 830 slugging given up. That is like, real bad. And then against lefties, a 452 slugging given up. So Corbin Martin has been very bad. We're dealing with a 28 innings pitch sample size at this point. He's taking on San Francisco Giants team in San Francisco. That is not the best hitting environment, unfortunately. Pulling up my diagram as far as San Fran's concerned. You can see, looking at Oracle Park, a lot of red going on as far as home runs. Not the most ideal, but I mean, this guy has been bad. So definitely going to have some interest in this stack tonight. Lamonte Wade, Mike Yastrzemski, Buster Posey, Brandon Crawford, Brandon Belt, Mike Tauchman, Donovan Solano, Jason Vossler up and down. Got to have interest in them. And then I'm not too worried about the Arizona Diamondbacks bullpen either. So like that stack. Top stack on the slate today is going to be the San Diego Padres for sure. Taking on Chichi Gonzalez in Coors Field. Doesn't really strike anyone out. Hard contact stuff is not good. Gives up a 478 slugging to righties and a 473 slugging to lefties. And most notably, he doesn't strike anyone out. And he's pitching in Coors Field against a lineup that's one of the best lineups in the league. It's 95 degrees out. There's 6-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out to center. And this is going to be a scary good spot for the San Diego Padres, especially when you're factoring that the Colorado Rockies bullpen sucks as well. So, going to be tough not playing these guys. Tommy Pham, Trent Grisham, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, Eric Hosmer, Will Myers, Jake Cronenworth, all up and down the order. If anything, maybe fade, one of the top bats like Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado to get different. That's obviously very, very scary to do because realistically, those guys are going to have great games. But, I think you have to play the Padres today. I faded Coors Field yesterday. Austin Gommer's the Rockies' best pitcher, and the Padres were really popular. They were like 40% owned in that particular tournament that I talked about earlier with you guys as far as my third place finish. And I felt very confident in fading them. It just wasn't a spot where I felt like it was necessary to play them at that amount of ownership. Tonight, however, my tone might change on that, unfortunately. And I really don't like playing Coors, and I like fading and being different. But, I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. So I think it's going to be hard to not be playing some Padres bats tonight. Tucker Davidson taking on the Boston Red Sox. Ground ball, fly ball stuff really isn't the greatest. A 364 slugging given up to righties. Against lefties, he has been very good. We're dealing with a 19 innings pitch sample size. So The right-handed bats for the Boston Red Sox that can really slug left-handed pitching, like Kiki Hernandez at the top of the order, JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts, Hunter Renfroe, Christian Vasquez, Christian Arroyo, and Bobby Dahlbeck will be in play as a stack today. It's in Atlanta. It's great hitting weather. It's 84 degrees with 11-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out to center. I think the Red Sox could definitely be a stack that might go under-owned tonight, so like them. Matt Harvey taking on the Cleveland Indians has been terrible. Another guy, we talked about Corbin Martin. Matt Harvey's been real bad as well. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. Hard contact stuff's terrible. Doesn't strike anyone out. 562 slugging given up to righties and a 561 slugging given up to lefties. That's just not good. And he's taking on a Cleveland squad today that you're going to have interest in for sure. Looking at their lineup up and down, it does look like it's going to be 69 degrees in Cleveland, not the warmest temperatures, and 18-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight in from center. So that's not good. You can still stack these guys up, but to be honest with you, we don't play DFS for singles and runs scored. We need those home runs, and it's going to be very difficult to hit the ball out of the ballpark with 18-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight in from center. So it might be a fade spot for me, unfortunately. Maybe even a spot you could pitch Matt Harvey for that reason. I mean, the guy struggles because of the hard contact giving up. If he's going to be giving up fly balls and he can get some strikeouts, and the fly balls are going to be caught up in a jet stream of wind that's not allowing the ball to get out of the ballpark, maybe it's Matt Harvey day as far as pitching is concerned. I don't know. I still think realistically he's not going to be the greatest option, but digging into the pitch data, maybe. Chris Flexen taking on the Minnesota Twins. Ground ball, fly ball stuff is not good. Hard contact stuff is not good. A 471 slugging given up to right-handed hitting and a 444 slugging given up to lefties. Definitely another guy that we can target, and the Minnesota lineup definitely does have some power in it and some talent across the board. Jorge Polanco, Josh Donaldson, Nelson Cruz, Trevor Leonard, Miguel Sano, Alex Kirilloff, Nick Gordon, Anderson Simmons. If you want to stack them up today, no issues with that. Not the best option on the slate, but Brett Anderson taking on the Cincinnati Reds. I mentioned I like playing these Reds against left-handed pitching. Brett Anderson is a different story, though, because his ground ball, fly ball stuff is very good. While he does give up a 458 slugging to righties, and I could see him getting blown up, I'm not getting quite as excited to be targeting him with the fact that he does a good job of getting the ball on the ground. So Reds viable, not quite as excited to be playing them against this particular lefty. Tyler Anderson taking on the Washington Nationals does give up quite a bit of fly balls and hard contact to right-handed hitting. A 492 slug given up to those right-handed hitters in the Washington squad. That's not the best against left-handed pitching, to be honest with you, but still going to be in a great spot. It's in Washington, which is a great hitter's park. They have a 4.76 implied run total. The Pittsburgh Pirates bullpen has not been the greatest. And there's definitely some guys in this lineup, like Ryan Zimmerman in the 3 spot, Josh Harrison, Trey Turner, Yan Gomes, Starlin Castro, Victor Robles that you could be targeting. Of course, you can throw in the lefties as well in your lineups to complete your stacks. He does still go up a 431 slugging to those lefties. Not nearly as bad as far as the hard contact stuff's concerned, but when you have guys with the amount of power that these lefties display with guys like, Juan Soto and Kyle Schwarber, I think it's viable to be playing them in your lineups. J.A. Happ taking on the Seattle Mariners is a guy I've been targeting a bunch. That's a left-handed hurler that gives up a bunch of hard contact and fly balls against right-handed hitting. A 499 slugging, giving up 44.8% fly ball rate. Really do enjoy targeting J.A. Happ. Unfortunately, he's taking on a Seattle Mariners squad tonight that isn't the best. The fact that they have a 4.25 implied run total against J.A. Happ kind of speaks for itself, in my opinion. But the righties, Mitch Haniger, Ty France, Tillman Moore, Tom Murphy as the catcher spot really rakes left-handed pitching. I definitely think that they are a viable stack. Unfortunately, they're not the best lineup up and down, and I'm not getting all too excited to do it, but that's possible. If you've been watching my content for quite some time now, you know I love targeting lefties against Casey Mize. The guy's been absolutely terrible against left-handed hitting, and I said last time it seems like he gives up a home run every single time to a lefty, and he did it again. So he's taking on a Kansas City Royals team tonight that unfortunately isn't the most left-handed heavy, but they do have a very good hitter in Carlos Santana in the 2 spot that does hit pitching very well and is a left-handed hitter. He's been very, very good against righties, and this lineup is all righties, essentially. So Casey Mize could be an interesting option as far as pitching tonight as well. Not one of my top options, but I guess Carlos Santana is a great one-off option. Unfortunately, they don't really have any more. And the next guy on the list here, Alec Mills, is very similar. Very good against righties, very, very bad against lefties. A 547 slugging given up to those lefties. Not quite as bad in the ground ball, fly ball stuff as Casey Mize, but still really does struggle against left-handed hitting, and the New York Mets lefties are definitely going to be in play tonight. 4.6 implied run total. It's in City Field, which unfortunately isn't the best hitting environment, but Jonathan VR, Francisco Lindor, Dom Smith, Billy McKinney can definitely be stacking up those lefties on this slate tonight. And then once we get down past him, things aren't really the most exciting. Zach Eflin, another guy that definitely has some splits issues, really struggles against left-handed hitting. A 516 slugging given up, 40.7% hard contact rate, 357 WOBA, and not good at all. So the Dodgers lefties are going to definitely be in play tonight. Gavin Lux, Matt DeBeatty, Zach McKinstry. 12 mile-an-hour winds blowing out, 89 degrees. Definitely like those lefties for sure. Jake Odorizzi, another guy that really struggles against hard contact, taking on a Texas squad. I mean, the ground ball, fly ball stuff right on my sheet. Hard contact, I believe, yeah, second worst on the slate. Definitely a guy that you can be targeting with some power. The Texas Rangers do have a lot of strikeouts, and they aren't exactly the most loaded lineup in the world. But I would say that they're definitely a valid stack tonight. It's in Houston. They're on the road. We know that Odorizzi is the long reliever. We know he's coming in out of the bullpen behind McCullers. And guys like Willie Calhoun, Joey Gallo, Nate Lowe, all have tons of power. Adolis Garcia as well. You know, if you want to stack up that Rangers squad, I wouldn't call you crazy at all. And then, I mean, lastly, Shane McClanahan has really struggled against left-handed hitting, as mentioned. So the Chicago White Sox, it would be lefty on lefty. But, I mean, I did mention you can definitely play Andrew Heaney. But also he does give up a lot of hard contact, and also the Oakland Athletics do profile pretty well against left-handed pitching. So if you want to stack up the A's, that's also a viable option. He's realistically either going to go out there and have a really good game and strike out a bunch of guys or get blown up. That's just kind of usually how Andrew Heaney rolls. So one of those sides will be right. And then lastly, Jordan Montgomery taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Has been really good as far as ground ball, fly ball stuff for the most part. I mean, mostly hard contact he's been good. And the ground ball, fly ball stuff actually isn't that great. But specifically against right-handed hitting, 44 slugging given up, 342 WOBA, not the best. Ground ball, fly ball stuff hasn't been the best. A 23% K rate's respectable, but taking on a Toronto Blue Jays team tonight, I think that Jordan Montgomery could have some issues. They're a very right-handed heavy lineup. We know how good they are up and down. This Toronto Blue Jays team is just absolutely stacked. It's in the Toronto Stadium in New York now, and it looks like there's 13 mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out. 68 degrees isn't the best hitting weather, but that wind will definitely help us. And, yeah, I just think the Blue Jays lineup is ridiculous. It profiles out very good against left-handed pitching, and Montgomery could definitely have a hard time there. I'll dig into some pitch data later on in the day, but I think the Blue Jays could be a good stack tonight for sure. And that is my overall breakdown of this slate today. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Mitch Haniger taking on J.A. Happ. I had mentioned his hard contact, fly ball issues against right-handed hitting, a guy that I love to target for sure with right-handed power. 44.8% fly ball rate against those righties, a 499 slugging, giving up 38.6% hard contact rate and only a 19.2 strikeout rate. Not going to get the job done in them, but specifically looking at what he throws for his repertoire, really reliant on the fastball. Goes to the fastball 55% of the time, and it's nothing special. About a 91 mile-an-hour fastball at this point in his career. And Mitch Haniger absolutely smashes that pitch. A 500 ISO with a 523 WOBA. Not to mention the guy has over a 300 ISO against left-handed pitching, and the only issue really is that he strikes out a bunch. Approaching about a 30% strikeout rate against those left-handed pitchers, but I don't think that's going to be an issue taking on J.A. Happ. I don't really think he has the stuff to overpower him. Love this spot for Mitch Haniger. Get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Mitch Haniger, get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.